Hey everybody, I'm back today with another video for Cut to You. I'm going to be using parts of two different cut files today. So the pumpkin is from the Thankful Page Builder cut file, and that word autumn is from the yearly title cut file. What I'm going to do is I am going to ink blend both the inside and the outside of this cut file. So I have reserved all of the inside white pieces onto my mat. I'm taking some ground espresso distress oxide ink, and I am going to go ahead and ink up the outside of the cut file. So this little, like the, I don't know what you call it, the outside with the ground espresso. And I am inking up the pumpkin and the title, my title piece. I'm going to set those aside, and then I'm just going to grab baby wipe and clean up the Distress Oxide ink. I ink onto my cutting mat all the time, and I just wipe it off with a baby wipe, and it comes clean. It's just fine. Next up, I'm going to do the leaf and the stem for the pumpkin. The stem is just going to use that ground espresso, and then the leaf is going to use Rustic Wilderness. Now, I am missing a couple of the little pieces of the leaves. I don't know. I think they may have just flown off of my mat, and I didn't notice them. But that's okay. We're just going to cover up that part of the leaf when we put our layout together. For the inside of the pumpkin pieces, I am inking them in carved pumpkin. And then I'm going to come in with some ripe persimmon for a little bit of shadowing across the bottom of my pumpkin. I'm going to set my cut file pieces aside, and then I can get to work kind of building the rest of my layout. I'm going to be working with Paige Evans' Whimsical collection today. So this is my absolute favorite Paige Evans collection of all time. I have loads of it. I love it. And I really just wanted to, I was in the mood to play with something from my stash that's not new or, so I grabbed this collection, which I really love. I am cutting a couple of strips here. So I have kind of a more brown taupe paper. I have a green paper. And I'm going to map my photos. This taupe paper and this green paper, I'm going to rough it up, and I'm going to go ahead and ink it up using some Distress Oxide ink in Vintage Photo. I use this color of Distress ink all the time. It's like my inking edges go-to. So I'm just going to go ahead and add some ink around those two strips. And then I'm going to make an attempt today at building a little bit of a scene, which I was inspired to do by my friend Nicole. Her YouTube channel is Coley Bing, and she builds scenes all the time. She does it a lot with stickers, and I don't know, I was in the mood. I think I was talking to her about her scene building or something, and decided, hey, let's give that a try. So that's where we're going with this layout. I just have a piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to put it across the bottom of that white cardstock. The Whimsical line is a white collection, so it is very white based, and it will look nice with my Basil Coconut Swirl cardstock. Nice match. So I'm just going to get that straightened up across the bottom, and then I can go ahead and start placing the die cut over here. I am going to start with the outline image. I think that was the word I was looking for earlier, outline. And I know that that's where I want to put my pumpkin. And now I have all of these inside pieces. I'm going to inlay the stem, and I'm going to inlay my leaf pieces using some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive. So you can see how you do this. Really, really easy. And again, your mat will survive the inking super fine. Just wipe it off with a baby wipe. And what's really nice is when you wipe it off with a baby wipe, when it dries, it's super sticky for you then. For the inside of the pumpkin, I'm going to go ahead and use some foam adhesive and pop those sections up. to give it some depth and some dimension. And you can see there that little bit of the leaf that I lost the little tiny pieces for, but don't fret, we're going to cover that up in just a bit. So I'm just taking each of these little slices of pumpkin, putting some foam adhesive on the back of it, and then popping it up right back into place. This is a really fun technique, and this inking technique is really great if you want to color up a cut file. You want to add some interest, but what you don't want to do is back it. This is a lot less messy than backing a cut file too. You guys know I love my backed cut files, but this is a really great way to go ahead and add some color and interest to a cut file without backing it, which was kind of my plan for all of my cut to you videos. Both my cut to you videos this month was to not back the cut file, but rather to show you how you can get a really fun dimensional look with some Distress Oxide ink. So I know I need to cover up that leaf. I have some die cuts. I'm going to kind of play around with those and decide which ones I want to use. I really love the idea of adding like a little flower to the top of my pumpkin. Decided I don't like those leaves. I'm going to replace them with some gold foiled leaves. And I actually like those much better. And then I can go ahead and kind of pop that flower up onto some dimensional tape for a little extra dimension as well. See, I like that much better. So that's what we're going to do with that pumpkin. Now let me decide where I'm going to put my photos. I have two photos. Both photos are 3x4s. And I'm just going to go ahead and kind of tuck these in, some die cuts around. I'm going to pop up my photos with some foam tape. I love that little 2x2 square that was from one of the swatch books. It had just a really nice sentiment and right colors. It's going to work perfectly right there. I'm going to create the title Autumn Adventure. I'm going to use that ground espresso Autumn. That's all inked up and ready for me to go. Just popping up that second photo there. And then I'm going to use these little thickers. These are such a fun font. And the foam, those really small foam thickers, very cute. I think this is from an older Pink Paisley collection, Auburn Lane possibly. And I'm just going to use these thickers to spell out adventures. Now I'm just going to go ahead and kind of decide where I want some clusters. I'm going to pick out a couple of die cuts. I'm going to place some clusters off to the right of that little 2x2 swatch book. And then I'm going to go ahead and add a couple things into that little space between my two photos, since I did not place my photos directly up and down, but kind of off to the side of each other. And I know I want to add these two little butterfly charms. Now, let's talk about that pumpkin. This is going to be like an easy scene, okay? If you want to see a more crazy scene, check out Nicole. But for me, I just wanted to add a little bit around my pumpkin. So I'm going to use this kind of gold border as almost like a grounding. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out a whole bunch of cute little flowers from my whimsical sticker book. Lots of different flowers in this collection, lots of different colors. I really stuck to the more autumnal colors, and I didn't use like the reds or the pinks. I stuck to more of the orangey colors. There's a little couple pink, and then I have two sticker books, so I was able to make that border underneath my pumpkin, that gold border, quite long, and it really does kind of add it acts almost like the ground for the little scene I want to create. So I'm just going through these packages. I almost used the die cuts, but you can see I have two of these sticker books. I have a lot of this whimsical collection. And now I'm just going to cluster. So I have that little butterfly. I have the flower that is on my stem, and I'm going to cluster some flowers down around the pumpkin. this is a scene, right? Totally. It totally is. And then I'm going to add some little hearts too. I think this pumpkin turned out so cute. Love the additional interest I was able to create using 2 colors of the orangey Distress Oxides. I can kind of just add these little leaves and flowers around. So once I had this part of my layout complete and I had added all of the little flowers, I popped some up. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little pop of color across the top with some of this gorgeous orange paper. And that is where we are going to call our layout done. Thank you so very much for joining me today. Be sure to head over and grab some of these cut files to mix and match for yourself. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.